And Jan, you're saying people are angry. I'd suggest that everybody go to stuff.co.nz after the show, and watch the 16-minute press conference, because Jenna Lynch is pissed. The people asking questions in this interview are like, before anyone said tonight how angry everyone is, Jan, like, I was like, geez, there's some real feeling in these questions from the journalists. Now, I'm going to play you one, because this is the one that kind of most summarized everything for me as to how Brooke Van Velden is taking this. She gets asked, surely I'm paraphrasing, but surely the democratic thing to do would be allow voices to be heard in a select committee with this kind of massive change. And Brooke Van Velden's response is, well, I've always wanted to change it. The other thing that frustrates me most about this is Brooke Van Velden talks about I a lot. I think, I don't think, I this, I that. Look, I don't want to kind of age shame someone, but if I'm going to take advice from someone who is an expert in an area, they better have a few more grey hairs and a few more years under their belt than Brooke Van Velden. Because in this press conference, it's all I don't like. Not like the research says, thank you, Chloe. No. Nothing like that. It's like, I don't like. I think it could be better. I mean, who are you to say this could be better? I'll play this question, right? The question is, and the question is there, but I'm just saying it because it might be softer in the background. You know, shouldn't women be able to come and share their views at a select committee? That's the question.
Why a select committee? If you're taking away people's ability to take these claims, shouldn't you at least give them the right to come to Parliament and tell you why they deserve to take claims to the government?
Well, there's a couple of aspects here. Firstly, I always suggested to government that this was an area of work that I wished to do. It was very clear also, however, that there are reasons why the government would wish to pass this under urgency.
Specifically, when you're taking away quite a significant right of people under the legislation, which will result in significantly lower wages than what otherwise would have been the case, don't those people who are affected by that deserve the right to come to Parliament to try and change your mind?
One thing I want to make clear is that we are not taking away anybody's wages. We are saying that settled claims still continue. There is a difference between collective bargaining, where wages should be sought and battled out for whether or not they've got those settings right. This is about gender-based discrimination, and we do not believe that the current settings are right. If you look at some of the things like review clauses, some of the review clauses have said that they would look at CPI over a number of years. I don't believe that's right. It should be looking at gender-based discrimination over years. And we've muddied the waters between collective bargaining and gender-based discrimination.
Minister, how do you think that Christine Bartlett is going to react to you today?
Look, I very much admire Christine Bartlett. I admire anybody who comes to Parliament or goes through the courts to advocate for themselves and for their wider community. I think that's quite a strength. For Christine Bartlett...
You heard that, Christine Bartlett, you're tearing up. That was Jenna at the end there. You can hear how pissed Jenna is. And a lot of those questions, you're cancelling democracy was another one from the background. Jan, I want to come back to you, but Craig, you look like you're about to explode. So I think we should allow you to release that valve because I don't want a death on the show tonight. What are you thinking?
I mean, it's just such a, frankly, bunch of self-serving doublespeak from that minister to actually hear that said like that. I mean, I've been a ministerial advisor. I've worked for the Treasury. I've worked for the Reserve Bank. I've heard a lot of people say a lot of things, right? But to say that this is helping anyone, to supporting anyone, this is simply a cost-cutting measure. That's all it is. And it plainly annoys me that, these are people's mothers, they're their daughters, their sisters. These people working in occupations that we care passionately about, in nursing, in teaching, places we can't get people to work because the pay is so low. And we're making it worse. Yeah. And as an economist, I can't see the sense, economically or otherwise, in following this path. The only thing we're doing is reducing a small amount of our deficit in our year. Whoop. So what? Right? We're making the country actively worse and we're buying problems in the future. And we're doing so just so somebody can claim a headline at 6 o'clock on a Tuesday night. We've got to be a better country than this.
Yeah. So when you mention those workers as well, Craig, I just constantly think about COVID. and the ones we were literally standing out on the streets and doing this for. You know, those essential workers who kept us going and kept us safe are the ones that this government is now shitting on. Jan, yours, please.
Yeah, look, I absolutely agree. And I go back to that statement that was in the One News article that Ellie Kingy, who is a national treasure, I've known Ellie for years, and she negotiated or worked, not negotiated, just worked through that claim for teacher aides and support staff and did a heck of a lot of work. You know, these are people that don't get paid a lot. They're doing a lot of this work voluntarily. And she said, I did it so that my daughters and my granddaughters don't have to worry about this, and didn't have to worry. And over the course of one stand-up that the minister did today, she totally took that away. And now our daughters and our granddaughters, they're back in trouble again. And that just makes me so angry.